Now, you might be contemplating joining Real, but your biggest concern is, I'm not techie. Should I be worried? So if you're a person that would define yourself as not being techie, should you even consider joining a brokerage like Real? Traditional brick and mortar brokerages will have a secretary at the front desk. And of course, you can walk up to them and you can put down a contract on that desk and they'll take it from there. They'll do the scanning. They'll send it over to the managing broker. They might get on the phone and say, hey, you missed an initial on this page. Now, some brokerages offer support like this, of course, and others don't, to maybe at a varying degree. This can, of course, change. But some brokerages will essentially do all of the paperwork filing for you. And this allows an agent to be very hands-off with that portion of their business, essentially the secretarial portion of their business. And this is great. And for some agents and people, this is essential, and this is what they hold on to, and that's how they will be operating their business forever. And that's totally fair. So at Real, we have tons of support within the brokerage, and we have help, and we have individuals we can call, email, text to get support. But that secretarial aspect of the job is essentially on us. Or if we can't do it, we'll have to have a team member do it or hire an assistant to be able to do that for us. So if a Real agent does not have that physical support, and you might be saying, well, I'm not tech savvy, should I even consider joining Real as an option? Well, I'll answer this over the next few moments by explaining what actually is required from a Real agent. What's required from them once they have a contract for purchase and sale in place. So because we don't have that physical secretary to go up to, in replacement of that, we have our app Reason. Now, when you hear app, you might think a phone app, an application on your phone. And you might say, I do not want to have to navigate my complicated business all on my phone, my screen that's 4 inches, 5 inches big. Now, while Reason certainly is available on an application on our phones, it's also a web-based computer application that you can access from your personal Windows or Apple computer. It's essentially a website that you go to and you log in. And I do about 98% of what I do use Reason. I do that on my computer. But I also have the exact same content on my phone's application. So this can eliminate stress and downtime for me personally. You might say, well, I'll never use that. But it can really save your bacon too. For example, in the past, I was maybe traveling without my laptop by my side, and someone called or texted and they said, what's our completion date again? When do I need to be out of the house by? If I didn't know, right, we have too much on our minds, too much on the go. If I didn't know at that time the answer to the question, I would have to ask them to wait, and I would have to carry on with my day. And me personally, I would know in the back of my mind or in the front of my mind that someone's waiting on me, and it could affect my mood because I'm leaving somebody hanging. That's a me problem. Essentially, I was able to answer that question within about 30 seconds. Open your phone app, go to the transaction, find the date. You have the answer, even though it's all on your computer. But because you've put it into Reason app on your computer, it also happens to be on your phone application. So when I have that contract for purchase and sale in place, these are the steps that are required. So you're not tech savvy. What does it actually look like? You open up the Reason app, or you're on your computer, you go to the website. I leave a tab open with the website open all the time, so I don't even have to do that step. On the left, we have a transaction section. You click that. You click add a new transaction. And then it walks you through what's needed from you. It asks you the address. It asks you who the agent on the other side of the transaction is. And then after you've answered all the questions, it asks you about the transaction. Then you'll see a checklist section. And this is where you'll take the documents from the transaction that you essentially would be putting on your secretary's desk. Instead, this is what you're doing with them. You're putting it in this checklist. This is where you put the title. This is where you put the property disclosure statement. You put them all in there. If you happen to be missing something, tomorrow or the next day when it's being reviewed by the managing broker, they'll say, hey, where's this doc? And then ideally you have it, and you put it into the checklist in the appropriate area. In that transaction, there's that checklist section. There's also a comments section. So if you are missing something, your managing broker will say, hey, can you get this for me? And you can reply right in that comment section, and you already know what you're talking about because you're within that specified transaction. So it really does streamline things. Now, if I lost you there, and if dealing with PDFs, like I just explained, is too techy of a process for you, you have a few options. One is, well, determining, you know what, this might not be for me. I don't want to be able to handle this. I don't want that to be on my plate. If you're considering it still, and it still could be an option, I'll just take a minute to explain to you some options of how to navigate this process. So if you have those physical papers that were signed and were ready to submit to your secretary, and you have to get them to a computer in a PDF format, you can, of course, purchase a scanner and run the papers through the scanner and have it email them to you. But an even easier option, and one that is free, is an application you can get on your phone called Genius Scanner. So with this app, I have a scanner in my office right here. I just never use it. I don't think I've actually used it once because I use this Genius Scanner app on my phone. It uses your phone's camera, and you just hold it over the papers and you push the button and it takes a photo, but it doesn't look like a photo. It kind of makes that paper look more like a document you'd view on a computer, essentially by boosting the blacks and boosting the whites. So it kind of flattens the image so it looks like a readable document. So now you've scanned that document with the application and you can just email it to yourself from there. Now you've gone from having a physical piece of paper to having a PDF in your email on your computer. And now you can take it from there and again drop it into that checklist, into the appropriate section where it asks for it. What if you have one large PDF that has all of these documents sandwiched together in one PDF? So one file on your computer, it's called 123 Main Street, and in it has the DORT, the PNC, the contract for purchase and sale, the title, the PDS. But the checklist says, put the title here. Well, right within reason, there's a PDF splitter. You can drop the document into it and you can slice it up into as many pieces as you want. And that problem is essentially solved. There's also options like PDF editor applications that you can get on your computer. And that's a little bit next level. You can certainly Google that. I do use one almost daily myself, but members of my team don't have it and they're able to get along just fine just by using the PDF splitter right within reason. And of course, if you were running into this issue often, what you could just do is use that Genius Scanner application and just email one document at a time to yourself. Open it up, take the PDS, take the 4 or 5 photos, and then email it. Then open up the app again, take the 4 or 5 photos of the title, email that. Then you've automatically got those 4 or 5 separated PDFs. So that essentially is the most difficult and tech-savvy part of being with Real. That is the hardest part, working with PDFs and being able to drag them into Reason. Now, there are many other tools and parts of Reason, the application that's provided to us that we can use. Tools like Real Signature. This is our free digital signing application that's provided to all Real agents. Now, on my channel, I do have a video that goes through all of the different sections of Reason app and outlines what's available. So I have that video there. You can go check that out. And I also have one specifically on Real Signature and how it works. It's very similar to a DocuSign, to an Authentisign, but no monthly, no yearly fee, which of course is lovely. So to recap, do you have to be super techy to consider joining Real? Not overly, in my opinion, but you do have to be okay with navigating something that is about as difficult as navigating a Gmail account. You have to be okay with working with emails, attachments, dragging and dropping files. And truthfully, I know that this is not the best option for some. For some agents, I know that this is not going to be desirable, and that is totally fine. That's why we have different brokerages and different options. In many ways, Real's model does tend to appeal to a bit of a younger demographic or a younger minded demographic, one that does embrace technology to to a degree. Now, when I say that, there are many older ones, super experienced agents with decades and decades in the real estate industry with Real. But they also, again, tend to have this mindset of being okay with change and still being okay with learning something new and adapting to new systems. So if change and learning a new system is off the table, again, this might not be the best option for you. But if you never change, then of course your life will stay the same and growth won't occur as well. There's a quote that I like, and you may have heard it before, but to restart is better than to regret. You will have to learn some new systems, but you do not have to become a computer programmer, a hacker by any means to join Real. So if you have any questions about what it would look like to join Real, or I didn't answer any of your specific questions within this video or other videos, feel free to reach out to me. All my contact information is on my website. We can schedule a time to have a chat and we can see whether or not it would be a good fit for you.